G'day, Battlers. Welcome to the Backyard Battlers podcast, brought to you by Goat Squad Media. We're just three ordinary blokes talking to some extraordinary people. The likes of AFL stars, AFLW stars, AFL legends, and everything else in between. Stay tuned and enjoy the ride. Guys, welcome to the Backyard Battlers podcast, brought to you by Goat Squad Media. I am Luke Gallagher. That is Ethan Civies. That is Lachlan Wills. We are so excited to have you on the show. Boys, welcome.
Thanks, Lukey.
Hey, mate.
Now, this podcast, Spills, Lachlan Wills, Spills, this is your basically brainchild. We're going to touch on that a little bit for us. How did the podcast come about?
Yeah, mate. It sort of came about with three really good mates, and I'll let you run through the slogan of the show, Lukey, in a sec. But we are very good mates, and we did meet at the Simon Black Academy, and Lukey's moved to Victoria, and we wanted to have a chat every week and catch up, and talk about footy. And the idea sort of spawned from that. We could have a chat and record it, and people can listen to our useless opinions. Was sort of where it come from.
And that's, just on that, you mentioned the slogan, we are three mates in two states with one podcast with zero credibility. Now, we're big on that zero credibility part, so please don't question us on it. Now, going into that, just quickly, Spills, the podcast, obviously you and I, we speak probably daily, even before this. Now, we've carried a fair bit of weight compared to the third member of the podcast. What are your thoughts on that really quickly?
Well, mate, I actually was very surprised when he turned up on the Zoom call for the podcast tonight. So that's my thoughts on that. I'm actually in a bit of shock. It's good to see you though, Heath.
Hey, mate. It's good to see you too.
Awesome. Fantastic. Now, usually we would have a special guest, but this week, unfortunately, you're stuck with us. But next week, we're so excited. Brooke Lachlan, AFLW superstar, Western Bulldogs, vice captain, All-Australian, leading goal kicker, premiership winner. She'll be on the show next week. So excited. But for now, you're stuck with us.
Yeah. So we'll fly into our next category, the ordinary to extraordinary. So as Lukey was saying, every week we're going to aim to have a special guest. We're really excited to have Brooke next week as our first guest, but unfortunately you're stuck with us three this week. Cracking conversation that we had few nights ago.
It is Get to Know the Goat Squad, where we basically take the piss out of each other and ourselves. Looking forward to it. Ethan, I'm actually going to start with you. Can you give me one fun fact about yourself?
Wow. Way to put me on the spot.
Do you have one fun fact about yourself?
About one fun fact. Like, there's plenty of facts about me.
Yeah, but your facts are like, oh, this is your birthday.
Exactly.
That's boring. No one cares about how old you are.
What's a fun fact about me? I'm not a very fun person to be around.
That's true. You're pretty miserable, actually.
Probably that I'm just a really, I probably could have gone to the top level as a basketball player.
You're like 6'1".
He's not even
and can't shoot.
I'm about 6 foot, mate.
And he can't shoot.
He's 5'9".
I'm a good ball handler. I can find my teammates.
Yeah, you and Pendles, mate. You could have had that basketball career.
I actually think I probably could have gone top level if I still think I could. I might change career paths. You never know.
The level of how much he rates himself is insane.
So the thing is, Ethan is known for having tickets on himself. In fact, he got it as a graduation present from Nathan Clark, which was fantastic. I have a question, Ethan. If you were to, stick to basketball, do you think the Boomers would have won gold?
Look, probably not, because I would have been a rook. So I wouldn't have been getting many minutes. But if I was on that team and getting minutes, I tell you what, D-Book wouldn't have gone off in that final against the
Lockdown, eh? Lockdown D.
Yeah. I'm a bit of a lockdown defender, actually. I'll go with that. Yeah. Ball handler, lockdown defender. 6 foot.
I think we've all heard enough of Ethan.
Bills, Wills, do you have any questions? Any questions for that absolute flog?
I actually do, Ethan. Mate, where does the confidence to rate yourself so much come from? Because you are literally garbage at most things. Like, you got a little bit of talent on the footy field. I mean, you think you've got talent as a basketball, but can you just explain to everybody where your confidence for this talent comes from?
Well, it's a tough world we live in. So, if
Your world's not tough.
No.
You've had the most sheltered.
World,
Okay.
In the footy world, it's tough, Like you've got to keep backing yourself in, and Luke, because you've played a pretty high level of football. You wouldn't really know, Spills, because you.
But mate, you've just gone off topic. I'm asking where the confidence, like that, you rate yourself so much. Where does that come from? Because like I don't see much.
It's just because I know how good I am. That's where it comes from.
It's terrific. Every listener is going to hate you. This is beautiful. Oh, sorry, that was live. Okay, I think we should move on. He's just ruining the show.
Oh, I love it though.
I'm just answering your questions, mate.
Generally is a really good insight to who he is as a person, though. He generally thinks, like one day we'll kick in a footy and you generally screamed out, "I am trying to miss a target, but I can't."
I can confirm that has happened on a number of occasions.
Like, that's actually you. Like, you're such a shit human.
Yeah, they got now the audience knows who I am. I'm gonna have a cult following in no time.
Oh Christ! I actually
love it.
I have another question for you, Ethan.
Oh, okay,
cool. When you moved to Melbourne, because one thing you got to understand about Ethan, he's actually very shy until you get to know him. When you move to Melbourne and you join a new footy club, are you just going to brag behind their backs about how good you are, or are you going to have the balls for a change to tell them about how good you are?
I will 100% be bragging behind their backs.
That's the beautiful thing about Ethan. He's honest, always honest.
I think
that's a fear of mine, actually. So
don't like talking in public, so probably don't go on a podcast.
No, pretty silly idea if you ask me. But
fantastic. We'll move on. I want to go to Spills Wheels.
Spills Wheels.
I want to ask you, Spills.
Yes, mate.
Where does Spills come from?
Well, mate, you were there. So was Ethan.
I know, but I really want to hear you sell it. I've told the story before. Ethan's told the story before. I've actually never heard you tell the story before.
Okay. Well, I'll give it my best shot. And it is a good story. We were at the uni games with the Simon Black Academy. Jeez, make sure you check out the Simon Black Academy. Anyway.
I don't know how many times we need to plug it before you guys check it out.
Yeah, sorry. I've just plugged the academy, but we're actually there with Torrens University as a part of the Simon Black Academy. Anyway, we were playing a game against
someone
at uni games.
No one good.
Yeah, no one good. We were winning quite comfortably. There's probably about 15 minutes to go in the game. The coach at the time, Nathan Clark, has brought off all the better players to rest them for later in the competition. So obviously that leaves me out on the field carrying the
Ethan
team.
and I, just to paint a picture, Ethan and I are both off the field. We are sitting on the bench.
Yeah, correct.
Carry on, Spills. Carry on.
Large majority of my good mates were sitting on the bench. And just I'm going to plug myself a bit here. I played the most minutes in that whole comp, so I'm going to pat myself on the back for that. Didn't get rested once. Don't know if that says anything about my footballing ability. Anyway, so there's been a ball that's been torped out of defense, and it was spinning pretty friendly, actually. It was a pretty easy mark. And I've run underneath it, looking at it, watching chest mark goes straight through my hands. And that's where the Spills part came from, because I've dropped an absolute sitter in front of, like, this is 5 meters away from the bench where we've probably 12 players on the bench watching this. So
what happened next as well?
Was instant goal. I'll get to that.
This is your favorite part. This is
my favorite part. Yeah. So I've dropped the footy, gone and scooped it up, stepped a player, and then managed to lace out the boundary umpire and put it out on the full. So
sold some serious candy too.
I just had a sip of water and you're lucky it didn't get sprayed everywhere.
But if we thinking of my football career, I think that probably sums it up. Can't catch, can't kick.
Does one shit thing, does
For
one
one-
good thing, does one shit thing.
Yeah,
You're a shit sandwich.
pretty much. So that's
Okay.
the story
Really
of Spills, me
accurate
dropping an
representation.
absolute sitter at uni game. So that's where the nickname Spills comes from, and it has stuck long and truly. I think even the great man Simon Black calls me Spillsy.
Almost to the point where we actually are. Ethan and I think it'd be quite funny if one day we just generally change his name to Spills. Spills Wills. And
I actually don't think it'd be fun. I just think it's just a viable option. Considering your first name has an O in it.
yeah, Lachlan start with an O. What's going on there?
Oh, we're not going to get into that on the podcast. That can be that can be a goated topic one week.
I actually do have another question for you, mate.
Yeah, shoot, mate.
I will actually. You're a rowing coach.
Correct. Yep.
Every time Luke and I ask you what you want to do or what your ambitions are, or would you want to come to Melbourne and make yourself better bloke, better human, you just say, "No, I'm a rowing coach."
Yeah, correct.
What
They got rowing in Melbourne, man.
What are your ambitions?
What are my ambitions? My ambitions are to go as far as I can in coaching. But before I continue on that, I think if the question had come from Luke, it would be kind of valid because he actually tries to better himself. But in the whole time
Don't tell people that.
in the whole time I've known you, Ethan, you've done nothing to better yourself. The fact that you're going to Melbourne is like
Huge,
astronomical. Like if
It
you
is a
like,
Took me 12 months convincing.
yeah,
it did take a while.
and like I just find that hilarious coming from you. It's one of the richest questions I've ever heard because
Okay,
It is
I'll ask
rich.
it then. What do you want to do with your life?
because
It is
beyond
question.
footy, Ethan, what have you got going for you?
Oh, absolutely nothing. That's why it's such a
He's
rich
pretty good
question.
at 2K. He's pretty good at 2K.
Oh,
I mean, he's not
he-
as good as me, but he's pretty good.
We've actually started this podcast so Ethan could get all the streaming set up.
at 2K.
Rich question, but did you not hear my answer to the first two questions you asked me? I have
Tickets.
tickets, boys. It's fine.
Tickets to the
Tickets
Simmy
for
show.
every life. And back to the question, mate. Have you answered it?
Yeah,
He's avoided it.
my ambitions to go far as coaching as I can, and I think we'll leave it there.
It's a cop out.
It's a very, very vague answer. We'll have to come back to that one. I don't have anything else for you, mate. I'm sorry.
Thank God,
All right, here we go, boys. Hit me up.
Lukey.
Yeah,
I'll let you
mate.
start, Ethan.
I'm a pretty open book, boys. So you,
Yeah, I'm gonna get the ball rolling, so I might not go too hard too early here. So I'm kidding. I will go hard early. So Luke, you're 0-18 as a senior coach.
yeah, I am. Yeah. Shout out, Maruka Roosters.
Are
Hang on.
you?
How you going, Zaz? Muzz, Brownie? How are you, boys?
Are you going? Granted, you coach again. Will you ever win a game as a
Oh.
senior footy coach?
It's actually I've seen it at a pretty high level now, and it's very stressful. I don't know if I really want to do it. A senior coaching gig's so much work. If I'm going to do senior coaching, it'll be like Div 7, like what Spills coaches. Like it'll just generally be.
Better coaching
So,
record.
and you are a fairly lazy bloke, am I right?
I'm a naturally lazy person, but I
He's
do
honest. He's honest.
I do the bare
I like
minimum
it.
to get by.
I like it.
Terrific.
Which I really hope any future employees do not listen to this,
Yeah. So that.
or current employees for that matter, or
I'm
current
gonna
employees.
I'm gonna cut you off, Ethan, because I've got a great question for you, Luke.
Go for it, mate.
There's actually I don't think there is a video of it. So New Year's, I don't know.
Oh,
if
let's
Luke's,
just stitch up.
I don't know if Luke's gonna know where I'm going with this. Anyway, at New Year's, obviously we got together, had a few drinks with some of. Actually, I
Few
won't say-
cordials, few cordials.
Yeah, a few cordials. I won't say what I was going to say about Ethan's mates. um, Luke, I don't know which part of the night I want to start with. Was it the fact that you spent most of the night upstairs with the parents,
I don't know if we.
or
Yeah, that was a bit weird.
or just after New Year's, after about half a bottle of Fireball, you came out in a very, very attractive outfit. Do you want to? Do you
Uh,
want to tell the story? Because I think you.
No,
I think
to
you
be honest
should.
with you, no. I'm
Well,
assuming my mother's going to listen to this, so I no.
There's a lot of people that are now.
Well, there's a
listening
lot
to
of mothers there that you were speaking to. So.
I just get along better with
target audience.
middle-aged women. It's not my fault. Just a naturally
you are.
charismatic guy.
You are gonna get close.
What were you wearing, Luke?
Well, okay, this is the thing, right? So, like, I've had a fair amount of cordial that night. I was planning on obviously leaving to Melbourne in like a week after. So I really didn't hold back. It was my kind of like my last hurrah.
Yeah.
And I saw a bikini and I decided to put it on.
What was your going away party, wasn't it? Basically.
It was our going away celebration for him. We were cheering.
Party
Thank
time.
you very much. I have such good friends. I decided to put a bikini on and walk downstairs and jump in the pool. Before jumping in the pool, I decided to do a little dance. That's all I really want to say. That's all we're going to share about it.
If this podcast gets 1,000 likes on any of the first 15 podcasts, keep it within reason, a picture will emerge on our socials.
No, if we get 2,000 followers on Spotify, that picture can emerge.
Or on YouTube.
Yeah.
Come on.
What I love
about
this.
2,000, okay, 2,000 Instagram followers, Spotify followers, YouTube followers, bundled together. If it equals 2,000, that photo will be released.
Lock it in, Eddie.
Terrific. So that would...
Can I change that number now? That's really low.
No.
What I really like about this is that we've asked Luke 2 horrible questions, and the audience can already gauge your personality.
I'm just a fun-loving guy,
and it's just great. I love it. And Spills, mate, they all know that you are. Just want to be a coach, really.
I don't really know what Spills does.
Actually, no.
He's like my best mate.
My ambitions are to make this podcast as successful as possible, and hopefully,
boring.
Hopefully, a different direction.
Hopefully, talk shit with you three for the rest of my life.
That'd be ideal. And if we get
no one's paying us to do this, we have zero credibility.
If we can get to 2,000 followers on any of our social media platforms, that will get us on the right track.
Might be a good time to plug our social medias. We don't have our social media manager here, Harry Gillette. So, Ethan, I'll pass to
you, mate. He's passing to me. All right. Well.
Yeah, you.
It's all on me, boys. So, honestly, do we even have a YouTube channel at the moment?
No.
All right.
No.
So we've spoken about
we have an Instagram and a TikTok that you've done nothing with.
Hey, it's up. It's ready to go, and I will get
zero posts, zero followers, zero followers.
What I'd love to see is if we could just grow on Instagram straight away, just 2,000. Obviously, it's not going to happen straight away, but if we can get that picture of Luke on Instagram, post the 2,000 followers at Goat Squad Media, by the way, at Goat Squad Media, we are popping, boys, because once that photo goes on, 2,000 people looking at that beautiful photo of you.
There goes any future job I have.
Any future job, but our credibility also goes down, which is better.
Fake accounts are accepted.
I have a work with kids safe thing. I can't.
Well, then you shouldn't have these photos on the internet, then, mate.
I didn't put it up.
Be responsible.
So
the only way it's allowed to go up if it's a story, it's not a post.
Yeah, that's fine. But anyway, on our socials, you will find that beautiful picture. If we can get to 2,000 followers on any of our platforms or across all of our platforms.
Do we have a timeline on this, or is it just?
I reckon the first 10 episodes.
It's
10.
It's fairly
That's
unlimited.
10 weeks.
That's a lot of followers a week, though, considering we have zero credibility.
I mean, we've got 30 followers at the moment. I actually don't think we're going to get any more than that.
We have 30 followers and we've done sweet FA. That's why.
I'm pretty sure all 30 of them we have a close contact with.
Yeah, that's a guarantee, actually.
I'd be pretty psyched if we got 2,000 people just to see a picture of you. They can hate the podcast, but just to see that picture.
I'll be pretty pissed off. I'm not gonna lie. I'll be pretty annoyed.
I'd be very happy. I'd like that.
Alrighty. Before we talk any more absolute
if that's the
rubbish,
case, though, hang on. Whoa. if that's the case, I have some very incriminating photos of you two as well. So let's just keep this in mind going forward, all right?
Wait, Spillsy Willsy does not let you take many photos of him.
Oh,
No, but the ones you take when he's asleep, you can't do anything about.
He's a very introverted type of guy.
I'm introverted. Jeez, that's very
call the
rich.
kettle black.
And that again, there's my personality just coming out. That's pretty cool.
Right. I think we're going to wrap it up there because if we keep going, we're going to lose. We might go to negative credibility.
We actually could literally sit here for 10 hours straight just talking about how much we hate each other, but we are great mates.
Yeah,
I genuinely, if we had to choose between pushing them off a building and $5, we'd take the $5.
Okay, welcome back to the Backyard Battlers podcast brought to you by Goat Squad Media. We're going to move on, lads, and we're going to crack into our Goat Squad's hottest footy take. Every week, we're going to have our take on the week that was in the footy and really excited to get that up and running for the full AFLW season. But we've got a little bit of stuff to go in the most exciting time of year heading into September, finals footy. Lukey, you want to kick us off?
My favorite thing coming into the end of the season, it's been a massive year, is the battler team of 2021. My battler team of 2021 is the GWS Giants. Excellent. They have been absolutely extraordinary under some really difficult circumstances as well. First of all, COVID, massive impact in New South Wales right now. They haven't been home for God knows how long. As well as, they didn't have the best year last year, obviously a very interrupted year, but last year wasn't their best either. But then to throw it on top of that, they have 18 injured on their list. 18 players, biggest injury list in the AFL, and they're still going to, I reckon they'll make finals. And they are the Backyard Battlers battler team of 2021.
100%, mate. 18 injured. That's nearly half a list of injured players.
That's massive. It's massive.
And it's not just backup players either. I mean, they've been missing, and I'm going to attempt, is it Caniglio or Cornelio? How are we going to agree on saying that going forth here? Because I love the man, but
I don't think we'll ever agree on saying that.
No, I don't think we will either.
Anyway,
I reckon you just say what you're feeling.
I think I'll just call him Stephen.
Good call. Great call.
He's been injured for a large chunk of the year, and I know he got dropped towards the end of last year, but he's truly he holds that squad together as the captain, and he's a terrific bloke, as we saw on the AFL documentary. And Toby Green's taken over from him as captain, and he has done an insanely good job. And love him or hate him, you can't deny he's played some excellent footy this year.
Yeah, he's a great footballer. Fantastic footballer.
Superstar.
Lovely. All right, we'll move on then, boys. My hottest footy take is Richmond this season. Going into round 23, just want to highlight a couple of things really quickly. So they had their first loss to Sydney by 45 points in round 3. Before the bye, they went into the bye with 7 wins and 6 losses. The teams they lost to in those first 6 losses were Sydney by 45 points, Port by 2 points, the Demons by 34 points, Geelong by 63 points, Brisbane by 28 points, and West Coast by 4 points.
You're probably forgiven for those losses.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They've lost to some very quality opposition in those first 6 games. Granted, probably by a little bit more than usual than they have in previous years. But going off previous seasons, they are that team that scrapes into 4th, 5th, that area of the ladder, and they turn it on in September. We all know that. If they kept running on that trajectory through the back half of the season, that's up until round 14 when they had the bye, they would have gone pretty comfortably. But after the bye, they lost to the Saints by 40 points, the Suns by 10 points, Collingwood by 16, lost to Geelong again, then lost to Freo and GWS. They won only 2 games after the bye going into this last round.
It's not very good, is it?
Yeah, no, that's not a Richmond thing. You wouldn't think, as you were saying. Normally they finish well.
We'll move on in 2 seconds, but boys, my question to you is: what's happened to them this season? What's the
difference? Old, I reckon. I think. That's probably a bit unfair. I think they've had a lot of a long 4 years.
Yeah.
Prior to this, a long 4 years. Obviously, 3 flags, 4 years. I think they're tired.
Yeah.
Bit of premiership fatigue finally hitting it.
Yeah, finally hitting them. So
it's looked like that in the back half of the year.
Yeah.
All righty, lovely. Well, Civvies, I believe you've got our next footy take.
I do, and I want to talk about the Swans, lads. They've been incredible. They finished the 2020 season 5-12 in the home and away season in 16th, and they're currently 14-7 heading into the last round of the year. So yeah, as you just touched on, I was thinking in that game against Richmond you were talking about, when Sydney won early in the season, 10 of their 22, including the sub against Richmond earlier this year, went in with a 50 games or less experience.
They just, if I'm not mistaken, they beat Brisbane in round one.
Round one.
They did. They comfortably at the Gabba, I think, wasn't it?
And then and then comfortably touched up Richmond in the first 2 rounds. I don't quite remember who else they had early in the season, but to beat those two teams who were both top 4 sides from last year, won the reigning premiers, it's quite a start to the season.
It is. And they've got some of the young blokes, Braden Campbell, Errol Golden, Sam Wicks, those type of guys. They've just come in and look like they're 100-game vets.
100%. They look very comfortable at AFL level.
They do. I just want to ask both of you, how far do you think the Swans can go?
I don't think the Suns are going very far. But the Swannies,
maybe not this year.
The Swannies are almost say they get knocked out in a prelim.
Yeah, I am agreeing with you, Luke.
I
reckon they make a prelim.
I agree. I reckon they'll make a prelim. And
yeah, I wouldn't want to be the team versing in the first round.
No chance.
No. All right, boys, we will keep trooping on with this podcast. I'm going to run you through quickly, boys, who makes the 8. So currently in contention, we have GWS, Essendon, West Coast, Freo, Richmond, and St Kilda all still in with a mathematical chance. Quickly, boys, who makes it? I'm saying there's no change to the current letter. GWS and Essendon both make the 8.
Yeah, I'm with that.
I'm with that too. Yeah, I'm 100%.
It's very rare that we all agree. So that's
astonishing.
Pretty big.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to get into who they're playing this week. I just think that'll do us.
Who finishes on top? Who finishes on top? This is going to be a really interesting week with D's playing the Geelong Cats.
The Cats, yep.
And the Port Flat Track Bullies playing the Doggies. Who finishes first?
Well, I don't think the Flat Track Bullies are going to finish first, mate. I think the Cats might wrap it up. I think it might be good enough to finish on top of the ladder.
Does anyone remember the last time we had 1v2, 3v4 in the last round of the season?
Yeah, no, that's so weird. I was looking at that too, actually.
I actually didn't even think of that till you just brought that up, Lukey. So that's pretty poor planning from me. But I think it's going to be a great.
Come on, producer. What are you doing, mate?
Boys, do you think Brisbane can make the 4?
I mean, this will be the first and last time I ever barrack for Port Adelaide.
Agreed.
Oh, I mean, I'm actually almost happy for Brisbane to finish 5th. I don't want to support Port Adelaide that much.
All right, boys. 3, 2, 1. Who finishes top?
Demons.
Cats.
Demons.
Yeah, go the D's.
We can't be we all can't have the same answer. We know that.
Boys, we'll move on. AFL Battler of the Week. My new favorite topic in our first podcast, and I hope it stays so. Boys, we've agreed on it. Our first Battler of the Week will be Tom Hickey.
Yay!
Just so we know the setup for the Battler of the Week, it's someone we discuss every week. And to be a Battler, Luke, what do you have to do?
You have to fly under the radar a little bit. You have to just know your role, play your role. Kind of just go through without that media hype around you. Probably won't get the accolades outside of the 4 walls of your club, except for his podcast. Obviously, we love to acknowledge the battlers of the team. So, Tom Hickey, congratulations. Now, just on Tom Hickey And this is why he's a battler. He was at the Gold Coast Suns. Then he went to St Kilda. Then he went to West Coast. And now he's at Sydney. 4 clubs, 4 different states. Queensland, Victoria, Western Australia, and New South Wales. He is now such an important role in the Sydney's finals charge. Tom Hickey, you're an absolute legend and an absolute battler.
Just to highlight something else, boys, he played his first game of AFL at 17. How good's that?
He's a Brizzy boy as well.
He is. Terrific. From Morningside. Luke, what do you like to call them?
Oh, the Footy Factory.
Footy Factory. Civvies, what do you got for us on Tom Hickey?
Tom Hickey, mate. Well, sticking to the zero credibility, I'd like to know what their record would be with and without him. He's had his fair share of injuries over the years, and he's had a couple of injuries this year.
At the Swans.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see what their record is without him, because I think he's probably, based on how their form is, he's probably been one of their most influential players. Obviously, I don't have enough credibility or preparation to go and look that up, but I think he's been huge for them this year.
That's very good from you, Heath. That'll wrap up our AFL Battler of the Week, a terrific segment we've got here on the show. We're going to take a break here on the Backyard Battlers podcast, and we'll be back. Welcome back to the Backyard Battlers podcast, brought to you by Goat Squad Media. Boys, our next topic will be our goated topic. Geez, that name is up for review. Boy, this topic, this segment, we're going to have a chat about. We're going to have a chat about
You've got yourself here, haven't you?
Yeah,
You've got yourself.
You've made
yourself laugh.
He's made somewhat of a joke. And
I'm going to take over here. I'll help you out, bud.
Thanks,
this week's go-to topic is going to be the biggest sprays we've ever received. Now, usually we would tell a story about each other, but right now I think I'm going to throw everyone on the bus a little bit. Now, Ethan, I'm going to start with you. Biggest spray you've ever copped, mate?
Biggest spray I've copped. It's a bit of a two-piecer, but I'll run through it quickly. So basically, we were playing against your old mob, actually, the Woolston Grange Gorillas, mate.
Go the Grange. Go the Grange.
And we'd
great day to be a gorilla.
Oh, good day to be a gorilla. Slow start to the game. Come in at half time, and the coach gives the full team a spray. You know, you think, maybe we'll go out and we'll give a good crack in the second half. I think Grange then went out to kick the first 6 of the second half, so that wasn't good.
I was coaching that day, that's why.
Yep, had to be. I'm pretty sure I didn't go near the footy. Probably would have been Luke's.
You rarely do.
Yeah.
My advice was, if you're on Ethan Civ, he's taking the goal square because he hates contact.
Can confirm. Anyway, late in the game's done. One of your blokes is sort of getting into ours, and I sort of looked at it and I was like, oh, that's a bit of a worrying sign. I don't really want to be involved in that because, as you said, I don't like contact.
Soft as butter.
So yeah, and one of the coaches saw it basically, and we come off after the game, and we've already lost. I'm already a little bit sad and a bit like, I don't want to really be here anymore. And he just comes up to me in front of the group and gives me an absolute bath that I can't repeat on this podcast. But I did go home a little bit sad that day, and it probably would have been one of the biggest sprays I've copped.
Terrific, mate.
Fantastic. It's great to hear that happen against the great Gorillas as well. Now, Spilsy, short and sharp here, mate. Biggest spray you've ever copped.
I think we all know where this one's going to go, boys. We had a chat about this off air, and I will try keep it short and sharp, but it is a good story. As we said before, and we've chatted about, we all met at the Simon Black AFL Academy, good friends of the show. And we were doing a training session at the academy. The great man himself, Simon Black, was running the session. And to give it a little bit of background quickly, Blackie is dead set. One of the nicest blokes you'll ever meet. All being it, he's a bit of a dork, but he is a bit
of a dork. He is a dork. He's a lovable dork, but a dork.
Yeah, dead set. One of the nicest blokes you'll ever meet. So humble for a man that's achieved so much. It's pretty astonishing that he can be so humble. And then when you hang out with a bloke like Ethan Civvies, it's two completely different universes.
Polar opposites.
Yeah. But anyway, we're doing this drill, kicking the footies. It was a very simple kicking drill. And if anyone's ever met me, they know I don't hit many targets. I'm not a very good kicker.
Sprays them.
Yeah, not a very good kicker, the Sharon. We're kicking the footy around, and I'm, being my usual chirpy self, calling people a hero because, I've got my cape fluttering in the background. Good mate Harry Gillette of the show called him a hero as he's laced the target, and I've probably 2 seconds later shanked my 50th kick for the drill. Blackie stops the drill, pulls us all in, comes over to me and in front of the whole group, says, Spillsy, mate, if you put as much effort into kicking as you do calling people heroes, you might actually hit a target. And the way he said it was terrific. Yeah, he does, 100%. But yeah, that's the biggest spray I ever copped, and it was a very, very funny one at that.
Fantastic.
Lukey, now, what do you got?
I'm a firm believer that I've never been sprayed. You two argue with me about this a lot. I'll paint a picture real quickly. Playing a handball game with, mixed levels. Someone's tried to come and tackle me. I've stopped, looked them dead in the eye, put my hand through their chest, and kind of carried on with the game.
Mate, the problem was the disgust you looked at him with. Like, I've got to highlight that. You looked at anyway, sorry.
No, it's okay. You interrupt me. It's fine. Now, I didn't think it was that bad. You guys carry on a little bit and put a bit of mayo on it. You put a bit of mayo on it. Now, Nathan Clark, great friend of ours, great friend of the show, he pulled us aside, basically told me to stop bullying a kid. He's not a kid, he's an adult. Basically, stop bullying him.
A bit more than that.
Yeah, I think it was a slap on the wrist. I probably won't use the language he used, but I thought it was a slap on the wrist. You guys think it was a spray.
It was a very aggressive slap on the wrist.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, some people like that. Now, while we're on the topic of sprays, boys, I'm a massive fan of Rodney Eade's spray on Will Minson. We've all heard it, did the rounds on social media. Now, coaches' sprays. Ethan, what's your best coaches' spray you got, mate?
Best coaches' spray I've seen was actually in the recently released AFL doco. Stewie Jew gave the troops a spray at halftime midway through the line meetings. So all the coaching group copped an absolute bath.
Just quickly here, imagine being a line coach, just sitting there with, like, let's say midfield group, talking about how you're going to come out in the second half, change this, change that, do this better, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, big Stewie walks in, smacks the door, and screams at everyone. And then he just walks into the meeting room.
And then just walks away.
Yeah. And then you're like, anyway, like, what are you meant to say there?
How do you recover from that?
You start again. Spills in, bring it home, mate. Biggest spray from a coach in the AFL.
Mine's actually a little bit different. It was Ross Lyon. It's not directed at players, and I know Ross has given some very good sprays to players before, but I thought this was hilarious. After a game, the reporter asked him a question. I actually don't know the question, just adding to our zero credibility, but Ross asked the reporter after he received that question, is that the best question you can come up after 2 hours of footy? I think that's terrific.
That's great.
It's a bit mean. The bloke's there to just get an answer out of him.
It's comedy gold.
It's terrific. It's excellent. Boys, we're going to take another break quickly, and we'll be back in 2 seconds here on the Backyard Battlers podcast. Welcome back to the Backyard Battlers podcast, brought to you by Goat Squad Media. Our next topic coming up is our local footy highlights. Every week, we're going to aim to talk a bit more about the local footy here in Queensland and maybe a bit of stuff up down there in Victoria. Geez, I'm good with directions. Civvies, mate, can you kick us off?
Yeah, mate. Well, unfortunately, this week's sort of segment of the local footy is not really a highlight segment. It's more of a low light segment. Unfortunately, in Brisbane, for me, for a lot of people, in Brizzy, we've just come out of a lockdown where community footy has been canned, or community sport that has been canned for 2 weeks. We had 2 games left in the season when that happened, so that's our season done. Those teams outside the finals. It's a 6-team final in the Quaffle, and we finished 7th. So good luck to the 6 teams in the final. I think Luke might have a bit of a say on this, but I think Redlands might get over the line this year.
I'm with you on that. Or I have a bit of a smoky in Maroochydore.
Yeah, Maroochydore are pretty good at home, aren't they? They may not travel as well, but they're a pretty strong team at home.
Now, I have a question, E. Obviously, a quaffle play yourself.
Superstar. Oh, sorry.
Be realistic. Aspley recently announced they're going to drop back from the VFL to the quaffle. Now, obviously, they're going to spread their players out, or they're going to try and retain all of them. What are your thoughts on Aspley coming back into the quaffle?
I like it. I like a big competition. I think it was evident this year that it was good fun having a bit of variety. I really do hope that they have a bit of an even spread, because when the NEFL, I think, got canned during the COVID season, Morningside, the Footy Factory, were really good with all their NEFL players back. So I hope that some of the Aspley boys get put out into other clubs or get retained, because I'm a firm believer of a pretty fair comp. Speaking of Aspley, they're coming out of the VFL. Me and Spilsy Willsy's co-host here, Mr. Gallagher. He somehow, I don't know how, has a gig at Werribee, a coaching role. Wears the pink on a Saturday afternoon.
Looks good.
Bit of breaking news coming out of Melbourne.
Just firstly, I do look good in pink, and I like to own it. I wear the pink socks and the pink boots as well. I really dive in head first. Yes, there is some breaking news out of the VFL. Obviously, everyone's aware of the COVID situation in Melbourne right now. So it's pretty heartbreaking. Home and away season has been finished. That's it, done. Which means basically they've used a mathematical arrangement to find out games played and games won and sorted it out from there. And unfortunately, Werribee have finished 9th after all that. So just out of the top 8. But yeah, and a bit disappointing, but it is what it is. If they do get the finals up and running, I think Footscray will win comfortably. I think they'll get it done.
Yeah. Southport looking pretty strong there too, actually.
Southport are looking strong. I'm very confused at how they're going to be able to travel, because every other team besides GWS, which is an AFL line club, is in Melbourne. So could be really interesting.
It's a very interesting point, actually. How are they going to get there? Boys, that probably wraps up our local footy highlights for this week. We are aiming to make that a much bigger topic and add a heap to it in the future. We're going to take another quick break here on the Backyard Battlers podcast, and we'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Backyard Battlers podcast, brought to you by Ghost Squad Media. Obviously, we have lots of topics, and this one's one of my favorite. It is the flog of the week. What this is going to be going forward is we pick one person per week who's done something that's probably a little bit floggish, and we will just basically bully them and make them feel really bad if they listen to the podcast. Now, this week, though, is a bit different. We're going to do flog of the season. And what it's going to be because of a certain person. So this week's our flog of the week is Eddie Maguire. Eddie Maguire has been the flog of the week, the flog of the season, because of his carry-on over the prison bar jerseys that Port Adelaide wanted to wear. Now, we're not massive Port Adelaide fans, but we love the prison bar jersey. Boys, what do we reckon? Eddie Maguire, prison bar jerseys, go.
Flog. And
flog.
Excellent decision from us.
Very good,
if I don't say so myself.
Toot his own horn.
It is rubbish. The prison bar saga is rubbish. And how good was it when Port put on the prison bar jerseys in the rooms and sung the song? I thought that was terrific.
Oh, that's quality. No, that was brilliant.
I think it's just jealousy from the Collingwood Football Club, to be honest with you. Maybe, just jealousy. We don't have that jersey. Why do you get to wear it?
We're not Port fans, boys, but they do look like they're going to finish in the top 4. Well, they will finish in the top 4, we would think. And Collingwood finished 16th.
Also lost a coach and a president the same year. So Port Adelaide, you probably got the last laugh there, guys. And you probably sold a lot more prison bar jerseys than you were expecting to. So, now, moving on from our flog of the week, what we're going to have is a question of the week. And this is something that really excites me also. The whole show excites me, of course. But question of the week, usually hopefully we're going to get one of our listeners to send through a question. And so they can ask, what about us? Hopefully we can ask one of our guests, all those types of things. Now, question of the week, this week I've thought of, boys, I have a few tattoos. You two have yet to be inked. Lachlan Wills, Lachlan Spilsy Wilsey, what would it take for you to get inked?
What would it take for me to get inked? I've thought about this, and I think for me to get inked, this podcast to get 1,000 followers on any platform, social media, Spotify. I don't mind what it is, 1,000 followers, and I will get a tattoo.
I love that. I love that. I love that. Ethan Evelyn Sivages. You and I have had this discussion a lot over the years, trying to convince you to, put something on your skin. You've been very against it. Now you have an answer for me, apparently, and I'm really excited to hear it.
I do have an answer. I'm still against it, but I have an answer. I have an ambition to move to Melbourne for the start of next year. And
This
it's
isn't
pretty
about
simple.
you. Carry on.
The three of us, we're mates. Well, we're mates, yeah.
We're acquaintances.
That's putting it nicely.
Podcasting in the same state would be really fun, wouldn't it, boys? So I think
It'd ruin our slogan, but yeah, it would be fun.
ruin the slogan, but it would be fun. I will get a tattoo if Spilsy Wilsey moves permanently in bold and capital letters to Melbourne at some point next year.
I love that. So 2022, Lachlan Wills has to be living in Melbourne.
We'll see, boys. We'll see.
Fantastic. Now, for me personally, I kind of like tattoos. I look at them pretty often. I wouldn't mind getting another one tomorrow if I could. So for me, if you want to pay for it and buy me a chubba chubba afterwards and maybe take me out for a beer, I'm pretty open to it. But besides that, that's probably me as far as tattoos go.
Great question.
It is a great question. I think it's really interesting, especially for those who haven't got a tattoo yet. Now, moving on. As we say on this show, we are just ordinary blokes. Now, a lot of ordinary people do some extraordinary things. So right now, this segment is called Ordinary to Extraordinary and Back Again. In this segment, we're going to have ordinary people on the show doing extraordinary things. Could be in their jobs, could be in their personal lives. Really excited for what can come with this segment. Spills, anything to add?
Mate, yeah, just want to touch on it, mate. I'm really excited this concept that we've got here. And I think it's really exciting for a number of reasons because especially in the COVID times, it's been really hard for ordinary people to stand out with sports being pretty much the only thing that's been in the media and proceeding. And then apart from that on the news, it's just gloom and doom, which has been really upsetting to see. So highlighting some people that are doing some extraordinary things that are just ordinary blokes like us. It's what this show's all about. And it's going to be a terrific segment into the future.
Yeah, awesome, mate. Fantastic. Now, going into our last segment of the show, boys, our zero credibility predictions. As we say, we are three mates in two states with one podcast and zero credibility. This is something that we are really, really passionate about. Obviously, footy brings us together. We have this week's round of footy. Spills, we're going to go through some zero credibility predictions. Tell us how it's going to work.
So every week we're going to make two predictions. We're going to make one safe prediction and one outrageous prediction, and we will work out some point system in the future. We are not prepared for this today. So
we thought of it 2 minutes before we started recording.
Terrific. So our zero credibility predictions, one outrageous one safe one, work out some point system, and then one of us will do something stupid at the end of the year, whoever loses.
Fantastic.
Lukey, mate, kick us off.
Now, I'd like you to read out the teams this week, the grounds, because I really can't remember
it. More zero credibility. I will read out the games for this weekend. So Friday night footy, the Dogs are facing Port. Saturday, Richmond Hawks, Sydney Suns, Brisbane West Coast, Cats Demons, Carlton Giants. Moving to Sunday to finish off the season, we've got the Saints and the Dockers, Essendon and Collingwood, and an absolute thriller between Adelaide and North Melbourne to round off 2021's regular season.
My outrageous one is going to be the Suns first up. I'm really excited about the Suns, hopefully finishing off really on a positive note. And my safe bet's Hawthorn. Alistair Clarkson will not lose his last game coaching the Hawthorn Football Club. Ethan Sivages.
I like that. You've just put me on the spot there because the Suns was my choice as an outrageous bet.
Should have gone first.
Should have gone first. Smart. Okay, so I'll go with the safe bet first then. My safe bet of the week will be the Lions will beat West Coast and end their season. And I think my outrageous bet will be you two boys bagging on about North Melbourne versus Adelaide. That game will be game of the round.
Pick a margin. Pick a margin.
That's
Pick a
excellent.
margin.
I think. Do you know where's it being played, Wills? Do you know where it's
Yeah.
being played?
Adelaide Oval.
Adelaide Oval. Yeah, I think Adelaide will get it done by less than a goal.
Wow, thriller.
Game of the round, boys.
No one will be watching.
All right, boys.
Spillsy, finish it up, mate.
Okay. My safe bet is Essendon will thump Collingwood and add to their flogness this season. I know they weren't. It was Eddie Maguire, but they're also my flog team of the year.
Stiff. Carry
Um,
on.
my outrageous bet is going to be similar to Luke's safe bet, but I'm going to say Hawthorn are not only going to end Richmond's season, they're going to end their dynasty and they're going to flog them by 75 points.
75 points.
75 points, boys. You've heard it
Wow.
from me first.
Oh, there you
That
go.
is some zero credibility.
That is our predictions. We're actually really looking forward to this podcast going forward, guys. Just quickly, we're so excited. Like we said, we are just three ordinary blokes trying to talk to some extraordinary people. Like we said earlier, we have Brooke Lachlan on the show next week. I'm so excited for that chat. Hopefully have some AFL greats and some AFL players and some AFLW stars as well coming on the show later on. We are the Backyard Battlers podcast, brought to you by Goat Squad Media. I'm Luke. That's Ethan. That's Lachlan. Thank you so much for being with us. Hopefully see you next time. Battlers, thank you so much for tuning in to episode 0 of the Backyard Battlers podcast, brought to you by Goat Squad Media. Find us on Instagram at Goat Squad Media and our YouTube, Goat Squad Media. Next week's episode will be able to be found on all major podcast platforms. Thank you so much for tuning in. See you next week.